Let's do it. Hello and welcome to the Mark Goldbridge channel. We're still stuck on the Mark Goldbridge channel for the live content. Apologies about that. All I would say is we are uploading on the United Stand channel as well, as you know. So keep on the United Stand channel, but make sure you subscribe to my channel for now. We will be live at 8:30 every night, but it will be on here until we sort the thing out with YouTube. So subscribe, like, and please do share, because people might not realise that the live show is on here at the moment. But I want to start off with, it is a Skype show. We will be taking your calls because that's what we do on a Monday and Thursday at 8:30. But I always give you a little bit of a lead in. I've just done a video on the United Stand about Lindelof and Perisic potentially happening in the next week. I want to bring a bigger name in though, because I know Perisic and Lindelof don't necessarily get you all excited in certain areas. But this one will. James Rodriguez. Now, somebody said to me today, well, I remember when we mentioned Rodriguez a few weeks ago, Mark, and you were on Twitter saying that you prefer Pereira. Look, the goalposts will change in a transfer window, and I don't know why I'm doing that with my pen. They will change because a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I was adamant that we were going to sign a certain number 7, because we were. And then on Thursday it stopped and we moved on. But that's off the menu now. And what I would just say very quickly, just on the man who will not be named on here anymore, apparently today it was, we might put it off for a year. And I've heard people saying, well, let's just get by for a year until he comes. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are we? We're Manchester United. We don't wait for anybody. The opportunity was there. If in a year's time there's still a space there because somebody's left or got injured or anything, then we might go back in for him. The opportunity's now. We move on. We get somebody for that position now. And that is where the goalposts have moved, and James Rodriguez becomes very important in my mind, because I look around what's available in world football at the moment to play that sort of number 10 position, which rightly Alex and many of you have said before, we don't necessarily need a number 10, but Rodriguez can play at number 10. He can also play on the wide. I think he would be perfect for us right now. I know Bale and your Neymars and your Alabas, your Dybalas, they're great to come in and play as number 10, but they're probably highly unrealistic. As we know with James Rodriguez, he didn't play in the Champions League final on Saturday night. I mean, that for me would be a bit like the De Gea situation, really, wouldn't it? But he wasn't even on the bench. You'd just be like, I'm not even on the bench for the Champions League final. That's the end of my Real Madrid career. He's apparently turned down Inter Milan. He's apparently desperate to come to Manchester United. And my opinion on the James Rodriguez deal has changed over the last 2 weeks. One, because that number 7 let us down last week. And two, because of that, it's really highlighted to me that something that I've always been very, very passionate about. I want players who want to come to Manchester United. And all we keep hearing about James Rodriguez is he passionately wants to come to Manchester United. He's at a crossroads in his career. He's in the mid-20s, so he's still very young. He wants to reignite his career, and he wants to reignite it at Manchester United. I want to do T-shirts, printing them, saying one double left foot. I want James Rodriguez to come to Manchester United. Yes, I do. I think we're getting for a decent price. The only reservation I would have is to get anything from Real Madrid. I think we may have to do a deal the other way with David De Gea. But what would he bring to us? He can play in any of the attacking midfield positions. He's got a fantastic left foot. He's quite skillful. I think he'd be one of the best players in the Premier League for us. The only reason I was slightly off the deal is because I preferred somebody else who's not coming now. Football changes, we must move on. I've already moved on from Thursday. I was getting really angry about it before, but you get over things, don't you? So, yeah, I definitely do like the idea of James Rodriguez. And I think he would bring a lot to the plate. My only other reservation is I'm not too sure whether Jose Mourinho is made up on him, but maybe he has now changed a little bit with the situation, because for £60 million for James Rodriguez, I would pay it. If you watch the video I just did on Lindelof and Perisic, it's overpriced. This summer is overpriced already. We're already seeing 60 million for Van Dijk. Well, if we can get Rodriguez for 60 million and Liverpool or City are paying 60 million for a mid-20s centre-back who plays for Southampton, then there's value in the market. I think we've got to sort of bring it in a little bit and look at what the situation is and look at what's best for Manchester United. And I think, off the top of my head straight away, if we could bring in Lindelof, Perisic, Rodriguez and a good number 9, that's good. That's good business for Manchester United this summer. As long as the number 9 is obviously very good as well. Which I must just add in there, I have heard that Lukaku is being touted at £70 million. £70 million for Lukaku. what is wrong with the world? I mean, all he's done is scored quite a few goals against lower league sides for a team that finished 7th. He's not top quality proven at all. £70 million. Go and get Aubameyang for 70 million. That's what PSG are rumoured to be paying for him. Go and get him. But Rodriguez, I am firmly back in that camp. And also, before I open up Skype and start taking your calls, something that many of us can probably relate to, actually. Let me just take this comment from Ranuk Dash, who's made a contribution. Thank you, Ranuk. He says, James was world-class in the World Cup. He's not played very much at Real Madrid, but when he has, he's smashed it. We need players who want to play for the shirt. He and Mkhitaryan will be crucial for us in the Champions League. Yeah, I think if you gave Rodriguez the platform of playing every week, you'd get the best out of him. There is slight reservations about his party boy lifestyle and mentality, but to be honest, he's kept at it with Real Madrid this season, and when they've used him, he's done very well. So I think that's probably slightly unfair. But just going back to what I was going to say before I open up Skype, reported that Mourinho is very tired. Well, he's had a demanding season, very tired, and is withdrawing himself from transfer business because he's tired. Is that a good or a bad thing? We're all a bit tired with it, really, aren't we? But yeah, very interesting that Mourinho has apparently withdrawn himself from it. Right, I'm going to open up Skype. In fact, I have opened it. So Skype Goldbridge is the name. Give us a Skype and get involved. I'm waiting for the calls to start coming through. I just want to say as well, I'm getting a bit of lag. That's never a good start with the Skype show. Well, let me sort that out. That's better. Let me just say as well, I'm very aware that we are on the Mark Goldbridge channel and we are not on the United Stand channel. That is a massive problem for us that we're trying to solve at the moment. And I can already see with the viewing figures, they are low compared to what they would be on the United Stand. So please support us. We've got to work through this together. It's fictitious, this claim that's gone against us from FIFA. We're trying to sort it out, but obviously it's a big organisation, so it's going to take a bit of time. Share the video. There's a share button underneath. There's a share button underneath the video where you can share on Twitter, on Facebook, on whatever social media you've got. Help the United Stand because we're struggling at the moment. Share the video, like the video, and subscribe to my channel so that we can just build up a bit of a community on here whilst we're stuck on here, because it's a problem. It's a problem for us. We will upload pre-records on the United Stand for you at least once a day, but we're a live content channel. We've got to be live, and we're stuck doing it on my channel, which isn't great. But let's try and move everybody over here, because 1,600 is pretty. It's good, but we're better than that. We're normally way better than that. Jared Passerman, before I take the call, says, I have this weird feeling that Icardi could pick up steam. He's young and he's a keen eye for goal, and Inter need money. Thanks for that. Thanks from New York City, Jared. Nothing would make me happier than Icardi coming to Manchester United. Many people will know I really like him. I'm not hearing anything about it, though. I'm not hearing that we've been linked to him at all. But I really would like him. Okay, let's take a call. I've been told to look out for somebody especially tonight, but I can't see their name. So I will just take a call. Who shall we take? Let's try Ross Miller. Ross, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Good, Ross. You're live on the United Stand. What did you want to talk about? Sorry, not on the United Stand. You're on Mark Goldbridge, aren't you?
I want to talk about Morata. I think he's a quality striker, and he's what we need.
Yeah, mentioned him a little bit last night. It's a bit up in the air what's happening with him. Chelsea apparently want him. Italian clubs want him, but some Manchester United fans don't want him. So tell us, what do you see in Morata that you think would be good for United? Would you have him as a number 1-9, or would you have him as a backup? Or
I think he should be our Premier League striker, and Rash should play out on the wing, and Ibra for Champions League, I think.
Well, I mean, Ibra's probably not going to... Well, do you think Ibra...
If we keep him.
Do you think he'll be back soon enough, or do you think it's a bit unlikely that he'll be back before Christmas?
I think he can get back in time, judging by the videos that have been released of him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, but that's only based on my experience of those sort of injuries. But I must admit that they're knocking the ball around, and apparently he is superhuman, so it could happen. But on Morata, what is it that you like about him?
Well, he's playing for Real Madrid, and he's the second highest goal scorer for a team that won the Champions League, so he must be quite good.
Yeah, and I would add into that as well that Juventus, when he was there, they speak highly of him.
Yeah.
Real Madrid fans speak highly of him as well. But I suppose he's a bit like Rodriguez in a way, that not first team for Real Madrid, but when he's called upon, he tends to do quite well.
Yeah, it's good. He's a good player. He's apparently got the better shot to goal conversion rate than Ronaldo, so he's good at finishing, unlike Ibra.
I don't really understand it. I mean, you could sort of throw Perisic in there as well. I don't really understand where it comes from, this I don't want them sort of thing, because, you know, I watch a lot of European football, but I'll be honest, I haven't seen Perisic more than 10 times last season, and Morata probably have, because you do get to see Madrid a little bit more, but I'm big fans of both, and I think they would bring a lot to the plate. I think Morata, again, is a young player. I think he's 23 or 24. This would be a signing that, you know, he's going to get an opportunity at a big club. He's quick. He holds the ball up well. He runs the channels well. He's good in the air. He's good at finishing. He's got absolutely everything. I mean, people talk about. I nearly liken him to an Alan Shearer then, because Alan Shearer was pretty much like that. He wasn't super fast, but he was quick, but he was good in the air. He's good at holding the ball up, good at running the channels, and good at shooting. I'm not saying he's Alan Shearer, but that sort of striker is actually your traditional good British Premier League striker.
He's good.
And with
good,
Lukaku,
fast, strong.
Lukaku can't hold the ball up. People want to spend 70 million on Lukaku. You probably get Morata for 40.
If De Gea has to go, he could be part of that deal. God forbid he leaves.
That is true. I mean, I do think, as I was saying about Rodriguez, for those who are joining us later, because I do think the Rodriguez deal is a deal that we should do now. The only trouble with doing any deals with Real Madrid is they're going to want something in return. Interestingly, about De Gea, there was I don't know what you think about this, Ross. Actually, the driving force behind De Gea to Real Madrid is again Florentino Perez and his Galactico signings, because apparently Zidane and the Real Madrid dressing room want them to keep Navas.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too, but if the chairman wants him, they'll get him, I think. No,
I would agree with that, but I just, again, if you were David De Gea, I just maybe there's something in him that thinks maybe I'll stay at United, because if you're hearing that and, you know, you might be getting booed by their fans anyway, other than going back to where you live, it doesn't sound that attractive, but we'll see. First time on the show, Ross?
Yeah, been subscribed about a week or so now.
Oh, great.
Loving the channel.
Relatively new. That's great. Well, thanks for calling in, pal. Always good to get new people on, especially on the first call. And please do call in again.
Will do.
Cheers, pal.
Bye.
That's nice, isn't it? New. I forget that we might be getting new people involved. That's great. We're nearly touching 2,000 people watching, which is fantastic. I must just say as well, I'm not being rude about this, because obviously it's we sort of broke it at about 4:00 when it was very, very new news about Cheick Tiote, and I think we sort of tweeted out and said, if it's true, rest in peace Cheick Tiote. You know, a typical tenacious midfielder, and people know I love that word tenacious, so it was a bit of a tribute to him. Then it transpired that it was true, because you never know with Twitter and the internet that it might have been nonsense. But yet again, a 30-year-old African footballer with a what will probably be a heart defect, and that is by no means racist or anything like that. This has happened before, hasn't it? With players of that origin. We had it with Marco, was it Foe? Not Mbappe. I should know. Mwamba, Tiote, and I think there's been others as well. It's tragic, and obviously it's some sort of genetic thing, but anybody can have it. Doesn't matter how fit you are, but 30 years of age, it's horrible, and a lot of us will remember Tiote as well. So rest in peace. He's part of the football family, and he used to always get a yellow card. I remember him being linked with United, and probably a few years ago now, and I probably hadn't watched enough of him, and I wouldn't have said he was ever United quality really, but I did quite like the fact that, a bit like Kante, he was just very tenacious, but that's just tragic, absolutely traffic. It was Mark Vivian Foe, says TC Singh. Yes, it was. Right, let's take another call. I'm going to try Andrew Trotter. Andrew, can you hear me?
Hi, all right.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Great, thanks. It's my first time on here.
Good. Okay, go for it, mate. You're totally relaxed. Just give us what you want to say.
I've been looking recently a lot at Dembele, who plays for Borussia Dortmund,
Oh, yeah.
and I think he would be a really good signing because I don't think at the moment we have like a proper out-and-out winger, especially when we play like 4-3-3, which is our main formation.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be the first. A lot of people, we've not really spoken about him, and we'd obviously do the transfer show at 7 a.m. every day, and he's been on the verge of getting in a few times, and I might feed him in this week just to give a little bit of a profile on him because a lot of you mention him, and he's a very good player. I can't remember how old he is. Is he like 19 or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and the thing is, he's got quite a lot. I mean, he's quick. He's got a good shot on him. I mean, and he's kind of hit the ground running at Dortmund. So I think he'd be a good player to buy for like just for the sheer pace as well. Because I don't think apart from Rashford, we don't really have anyone who's like like really rapid. I think he would be quite a decent signing to have.
Yeah, I mean Martial's fast, but he takes what seems to the ball gets stuck under his feet and too much. He never really seems to get going. But no, he's a great shout. I mean, I like Pulisic as well at Dortmund. I think he's a little bit younger. I think he's 18. I'd love us to sign him because, as we know from the United Stand, we get a lot of worldwide followers anyway, and especially in America. I think it'd be great. A bit like Irving Lozano as well in Mexico. Looks like he's going to go to Celta Vigo. I'd love us to have a Mexican playing for us or an American playing for us. But it's interesting about... Sorry, go on. It's interesting.
Just kind of replicate what you've been saying. I mean, I think, for example, like all the other signings, like Rodriguez, I think needs to happen. I think that's got to happen now. I feel like it'll calm everything down after the whole Griezmann thing.
Yeah,
it'll help a little bit, but not as much as Griezmann would have.
It is. I think Dortmund's very interesting because they're always a good side. They're always very good at bringing youth players through, and they are very good footballers as well. And in the way that we want Manchester United to play, there's a certain way we want to play, and those sort of players are attractive. I mean, I don't know. Dortmund have just sacked their manager, which I found quite odd, really, because you're always going to struggle to topple Bayern Munich. I don't know whether that would impact on whether any of their players want to go. I mean, traditionally, Dortmund have always been a one-out every summer sort of club. They won't normally sell more than one or two. But who's going to leave this summer? We expect Aubameyang to go. I mean, he'd be the first player I'd take from Dortmund if it was me. I don't know about you, but it's interesting about Dembele because I read something today that we're in for Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham, who I think is 16. I just don't think Mourinho is going to go that young.
No, I think he likes to have a bit of experience, and he wants to know what people are like before. Like when they're young, I don't think they're fully developed into like the player they're going to be. Like Rashford's developing, he's not the complete player yet, is he? He's not at his full potential.
Yes, I would agree with that, and it's also interesting in relation to no, it's not interesting. It's the point I was going to make is that I just think that we are in that situation now where we have got a lot of players that are sort of around 18 to 21. When you think about Twansibi, Fosu Mensah, Martial, Rashford, I think he will be looking to bring in players that are a little bit more experienced, which is why I think people like Perisic are very good.
Yeah, I think Perisic will be like. I don't think people are. Not everyone's happy about it, but I think he will be the kind of player that, like you say, he's not particularly amazing, but he's a hard worker, like almost like Herrera. Like Herrera's such a hard worker, but as well, I think when we're talking about Aubameyang is the kind of striker I'd really love to see at United, but I just got that feeling that I mean, it could be done, but I don't think it will be done.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said in relation to Aubameyang, if he's leaving Dortmund and he's not going to where he's always said he wants to go, which is Real Madrid, then we should really 100% be in there having a pop at him as well. But it doesn't sound or feel like we are.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I always laugh at Real Madrid because when you say how they throw the toys out the pram and get a new player, that's like it's spot on really, because I think it's something that players should look at before they go. Like Bale, I hope Bale's on the out one to United, but it's difficult at the moment, like you said, when we've got all the shit around, like all the transfer news and whatnot, because like you say, everyone's linked to us, so it's impossible to tell who we're actually going to go for. Like Perisic is probably the closest one to a done deal, but we're getting linked to absolutely everyone.
Just a little bit of interesting breaking news here. It's not United related, but I think it might impact on us slightly that Eden Hazard, who was linked with a move to Real Madrid, has been ruled out for 3 months and he will miss the start of the season. So that might sort of put a kibosh on Madrid going for Hazard, which I think they were going to be in for Hazard and Mbappe. So I don't think Bale was likely anyway, but I think that might just put the brakes on that.
He's had an ankle surgery today, Hazard, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, so 3
Something
months.
like that, yeah.
3 months he's out for. Thanks for calling, Andrew. Really good debut. Where are you calling from?
No worries. Just calling from up north in the northeast.
All right, yeah, okay. Thanks for calling, and please do call again.
No worries.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers, thanks.
I did see somebody on there trying to troll us all by saying that there's been a bid for Alexis Sanchez. There hasn't. But in relation to Alexis Sanchez, apparently Arsenal are offering him £300,000 a week to stay. I can't believe that. And apparently that's put Bayern Munich off. Well, we can afford that. So the thing is about Alexis Sanchez is I think he's more likely to go to Man City than us because did he play under Pep at Barcelona? I think he did. He must have done. So he's got that little connection, hasn't he? Diva Sani has made a contribution. Thanks for that, Diva. He says, we need a replacement for Carrick. Fabregas for 2 years. No. I don't like Fabregas. That's the problem. He's a good footballer. I just don't like Fabregas. He's a mercenary. Craig McCullough Games HD. Martial is not leaving, and that's what his agent says. Very good point, Craig, and thanks for the contribution. I'm not sure I would have remembered to say that, but very important that he's staying. I think some of us were concerned he might go. I never wanted him to go. I want him to stay. That's really positive news. Get a full summer under his belt. I don't think he's part of the French setup, so he'll get a full summer. He'll know what Mourinho wants of him next year. Hit it hard, play hard, or go home, and hopefully he'll do well. Reza Khan says, I've got a gut feeling that Aubameyang is coming to United. And Jackson Yates, Northeast, whereabouts? I think Middlesbrough, according to Tyrone. And Bayern are after Lukaku as well, Ryan Pierce says. Yeah, we did speak about that, didn't we? And Alex Bork says, Perisic is the worst conversion rate in Europe, 10%. It's like the general election, this, isn't it? It's like people just coming up with stats to try and make one party look worse than the other. Perisic is not a goal scorer for a start. What's Lingard's conversion rate? That must be bloody low. And Lingard doesn't work hard, gets knocked off the ball, isn't very, very fast, isn't very creative. Perisic's main attributes are his height, his pace, his skill, and his work rate. That's what he is. He's a left winger or a right winger because he's two-footed. He's not a goal scorer. You winger, unless you're a super winger like Ronaldo, you're not really there to score goals. You're there to cause problems for the opposition and create space for those people who do score goals. And let's take another call. Who shall I pick? The point is... Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Hold on. Hello?
Yeah, you're live. What did you want to say?
I'd like to talk about what role do you think Axel Twanzebe and Timothy Fosu-Mensah will be playing next year?
Interesting point. Well, being the host, I'll throw that back to you. What are your thoughts on what they'll be doing next year? Do you think loans, or do you think they will be part of the first team squad?
I think that if they're not going to get into the first team, they have to be loaned out because I think Fosu-Mensah has been rotting on the bench this year. And if he doesn't get much playing time next season, he's definitely going to want to move. And same for Twanzebe. I think Twanzebe, if Ashley Young was fit, Ashley Young would have been playing over Twanzebe, except on the last day of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to cut you up, but I have been saying all season that I don't understand, for me, why, and I think everyone would have an opinion on this, Fosu-Mensah had played 20 minutes before the last game of the season in the Premier League. He was Premier League ready the season before under Van Gaal. I just think why he didn't go on loan last year, I don't know. Training with the first team is not development. Playing first team football is, and he should have been on loan last year.
Yeah, for sure. And I just got a notification that Fellaini scored for Belgium. So yeah, but
Moving
I think
along.
that Fosu Mensah is a lot better than Fellaini. And same with Twanzebe in midfield. Fellaini, I don't see what he offers us other than an option off the bench for the last 10 minutes. So if I could sell him this summer, I'd love to. And people are saying bring in Bakayoko, but that's just genuinely bringing in like a younger Fellaini, in my opinion. And I don't want another Fellaini at United.
Yeah, I don't think Fellaini will go. I am like you, and I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say that I'd like to see him go. I just don't think he will, because I think we won't sell 5 or 6 players. I think we'll get rid of about 4. And people I'd get rid of ahead of Fellaini, to be honest, would be Rooney. I think Zlatan will go, Januzaj, and either one of Jones or Smalling. And that's just a start off. And then I'd be getting rid of people like Ashley Young and maybe Fellaini as well. But I do agree with you about Bakayoko. He's not very mobile. He doesn't read the game very well. Unless Mourinho thinks he can really improve him because he's still in his early 20s, I would be dodging that one and going all out for Fabinho.
Yeah, I think we will sign Fabinho because I think Man City, if they do go and sign like every single Monaco player, then that just shows how much of a stupid fraud that Pep is. I can't stand Pep. I don't know about other people's opinions. I know your opinion, but anyway, back onto the point about Jones or Smalling. I think Jones should go. He's too injury prone, and I think Smalling's a much better defender, and which is also why I don't want to sign Michael Keane, because I think we probably will only sign one centre back this summer, because I can't see him selling both of Jones and Smalling, and I have a horrible feeling he will bring back Michael Keane. He's going to start him alongside Eric Bailly, which I don't want to happen, but because if you look at it, Keane is not better than Rojo, he's not better than Bailly, and he's probably on the same level as Smalling. And the only player he's probably better than is Jones. And I think Twanzebe, he has the potential to be a better centre-back than Michael Keane. So why are we bringing him back?
I'll tell you what, that's a fantastic point. I don't know what people think on the live comments. It's one we haven't mentioned before, but there are some people who want Michael Keane. There's some people who doubt it. There is only, I think, 3 years between Twanzebe and Michael Keane. And I would agree, Twanzebe is infinitely better, has infinite more potential than Michael Keane does. So it is a weird one. And the thing that worries me about Michael Keane is if he does sign him as a backup, that's fine. But if he signs him to be first choice with Bailly and we lose De Gea, we could start the season with Romero in goal, who I think will cost us points over a season, and Michael Keane getting used to playing for United in a season where we need to be strong at the back and try and start. You know, you're only as strong as your back four, and we want to be going for the title next year. We don't losing De Gea and playing Michael Keane at centre back. I think would be a big risk.
Yeah, I personally don't think De Gea will leave, but that's also another reason I don't want to do any business with Madrid. I want nothing to do with them, so we don't get rid of De Gea. But Michael Keane, he's not United quality. So that's why we got rid of him a few years ago. I think if you do bring in someone else, it should be Manolas, or my other option would be Varane. But I don't want to touch any Real Madrid players, because if we go for any Real Madrid players, they're going to take De Gea from us.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that's the problem. I mean, I just saw somebody on the live comments saying that if we get Rodriguez, he has to wear the number 10. Rooney's going, so it's perfect. But I agree with what you're saying there. I think if we go anywhere near Real Madrid, we are going to lose De Gea. I do think we'll lose De Gea anyway. I think there's enough going on now that the president's sort of coming out and talking about it. That's when it sort of starts to happen for me. But I hope he stays, because my concern next season would be that we take the risk of Romero, and I think in Premier League games, I know everyone likes him, I like him, but I don't like the way he can't catch the ball. And in the Premier League, you're gonna have to catch the ball, because you're gonna have to deal with a lot of crosses. And the trouble with punching is you're never accurate with the punching. So a few of those punches are going to go into dangerous areas. Yeah, for sure. And can I just say one more thing about people saying who want Januzaj back? I liked Januzaj a few years ago when he broke out under Moyes, but if he's not getting into the Sunderland team, which he was not doing at the end of the season, why the hell should he be at United? Yeah,
I don't want Januzaj to stay. I have a horrible feeling that he will stay. The only thing that Januzaj should hope for is maybe getting out on loan again next season, but I really, really, really hope that Jose sells him. I don't want him. Good points. Really, really good points. Where are you calling from? I'm calling from California. Oh, cool. That's brilliant. Well, thanks for calling. First time on. And also, go on. Yes. And also, before I leave, I'd just like to say rest in peace, Czech Tiote. Some people in my family are Newcastle supporters. And when I heard that news when I woke up this morning, I was absolutely devastated because he was a very good player for them. And yeah, rest in peace, Jack Tiote.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thanks to you. Great call, and please do call in again.
Yes, thank you so much, Mark. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned Tiote. If people want to mention him, that's fine. You know, it doesn't matter how good he was. He was a character, wasn't he? But 30 years of age, it is no age for anyone, and it's very, very sad. Andrew Ellis says, rest in peace to his mate, Aidan, who passed away on his birthday. Andrew, I know, has been on the live comments for a long, long time. So sad to hear that, Andrew. And Tyrone Williams says Yannisai's a flop. You know what I would say about Yannisai, and I do echo what was said there, is why are we giving a chance to a lad who did have chances under Van Gaal? Like I said before, he had 2 seasons in a row where he played 4 games in a row, did nothing. Went to Dortmund and got sent home. Goes to Sunderland and can't even get in the team most weeks. Why is he suddenly a Manchester United squad player? We've already got a player who many people think isn't good enough in Lingard. We can't afford to have another one. And the thing about Yannisai is, he's technically not bad, but he hasn't got any pace. He's not. His end product's not that great. He's just not. I think he's verging on championship standard at the moment. He probably could, if he grafted really hard, sort himself out and be a lower Premier League sort of player. But he's not anywhere near top 4 quality, and that happens sometimes. These young players come along, everyone thinks they're the next big thing, and then they disappear. And I think, unfortunately for him, that is very likely to happen. Thanks everybody. We're up to 2,400 now, which I'm only mentioning that because we are not on the United Stand channel. If you think we are on the United Stand channel, we are on the Mark Goldbridge channel, so make sure you hit the subscribe, because at the moment the only live content we can do is on this channel. We are uploading pre-recorded stuff onto the United Stand in the interim, but whilst we sort this thing out with the FIFA strike, I don't know what it's all about. The live content, if we sign anybody, will go live as we always do in the summer, and if there's big news, we'll go live, but it will be on this channel, so you're going to have to be subscribed and hit the bell so that you get notifications of it, and keep an eye on this channel as well. We'll only be doing the live stuff on here. I'm going to keep all the pre-record stuff to the United Stand, and hopefully we will be back there soon. But remember, let everybody know, subscribe to this channel in the interim, because we are live content and we can't stop it. Ranuk Dash has made another contribution. He says Dyer, Matic, Fabinho, Sanchez, Matic, Bakayoko. Whom would you prefer? We've put Matic twice. Renato Sanchez approved. Fabinho is the one for me. I've got to be consistent. I've said that for a long time. It has to be Fabinho. Right, I'm going to take another call. It's funny because I do get told to keep an eye out for certain people by Mad Markers, and then that name doesn't actually pop up. Here we go. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Mark. You're right.
You're right. I did actually click you by accident, but not in a horrible way. It just it flashed up. So I'm more than happy because you've been on before. What did you want to say?
Well, there's James Rodriguez. Then just keep it to the video you've got here. James Rodriguez. So people are saying. I mean, I've watched your streams before. You said that it was more of a luxury signing, and now all of a sudden there's loads of people saying we want him, and just because we failed on Griezmann. I just want to say that people need to understand that he's still a world-class player. He still has a potential to be one of the best, and that was not flourished at Real Madrid last season because a player called Casemiro was just absolutely brilliant, and that obviously he couldn't get his place. His crosses are the most deadliest thing, and that's why Ronaldo has been winning the Ballon d'Ors majority of the time. Is because he
wants him to stay, doesn't he?
Sorry?
Ronaldo wants him to stay.
Yeah, Ronaldo does want him to stay because the reason why Ronaldo did so well was because he had James Rodriguez playing behind him, and he fed the ball in such a way it was just deadly. His technique is fantastic on crossing the ball, and he's one of a kind, trust me. So I mean I get that the fact people were kind of disappointed with the Griezmann whole thing, but I've seen from your streams before you said that it was a luxury signing. I don't know if you would take that back now, because the fact is, in, he's got elegance and brute power at the same time, and he can demolish teams. And he's got experience in Champions League, and that's what we need as a player right now. And Rooney, I mean, I was at the game yesterday for Carrick's testimonial, and bloody hell, like Seedorf was just ruining the whole thing. Like you couldn't see Rooney. Rooney was just rubbish.
Well,
Like,
Carragher had him in his back pocket, didn't he? It was embarrassing.
no, it was just bad. It was just bad, and I was just a couple of United fans next to me. They were just saying, "Well, this is absolutely ridiculous. Look, he's not even retired yet, and he's playing like this. He shouldn't. He should just go to China." Rooney's another subject, but I think James Rodriguez is a player that we should. I think he's been on the list for time, and I think this whole rumors from all these journalists have just started from nowhere.
It's I don't know whether you saw the start of the video, because I did actually go back on what I'd said 2 weeks ago, and very quickly, because people might have joined us later. 2 weeks ago, when it broke about Sky Sports, which is normally nonsense anyway, I said, I like Rodriguez, wonderful left foot, I really do like him, but he'd be 6th or 7th in line in relation to positions we need at the moment. I think he goes right near the top now, because at that time, Griezmann was going to sign. Now he's not going to sign. I don't think there's many better options than James Rodriguez, because he can play that position that Griezmann does. He can also play the wider positions as well. So that I would agree. Rodriguez does have the potential to be world class. He is only mid-20s, and this is a big opportunity if we decide to sign him, because he sounds like he wants to come to us. So I would do the deal now, simply because now that Griezmann's not possible, it bumps him up. I would never have said no anyway, but I just felt we needed other players before him. But I think now we need a creative sort of player who can play number 10 but can play on the width as well.
Well, Rodriguez can play cam, he can play left mid, he can play centre mid, and I'm seeing a couple of people in the chat saying that Casemiro did not take his place. Yes, he did. Casemiro did take his place, and the reason why Bale hasn't been playing is because Isco was playing in that position. So, I mean, I clearly watch European football quite a lot, and I do know what's going on. So it's the fact that James Rodriguez, people have not seen him last season, and the same thing with Morata. Juventus, he was absolutely fantastic, and all of a sudden now people are saying, oh, because we're linked with him, he's now shit because he's not been playing for last season. Well, if you see his goals ratio, it's actually pretty good. Yeah. But the only thing I think about Morata is that he's not Premier League proven, and I would rather take a player like an Italian who's more stronger, like Belotti, or Lukaku, who's more strong and powerful. I think Morata's still a bit. He's been playing against shit teams in the Spanish league. Just want to touch on Victor Lindelof as well. I think that is a done deal. I think from a lot of people I'm hearing. I don't know if your sources are telling me the same thing, but there are quite a lot of sources, like Abola has made it really big on their Portuguese newspapers that he's practically a done deal. I know the same thing about this Guyton stuff like last time, but I think Victor Lindelof is a really good player. And
I hope it happens. I do. Yeah, I do. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I do hope it happens.
I've not seen him play a lot, but I've been watching him. I just watched him on YouTube in like the past several weeks when we've been linked. But he's the type of tackles, the type of positioning is simply like the same as Bailly. I think he's one of them players that you've never heard of, and now all of a sudden he's great because people have seen him and stuff. So I think he's going to be a really good player if he does come. And then again, Perisic, I think that Perisic and James Rodriguez. I mean, if Perisic just want to come to United, he's a hard worker. James Rodriguez wants to come to United now. He wants to play for us. So that's a good thing. But Perisic is just a hard worker. He puts balls into the box and does the same thing. Well, he just smashes it. But I think our players that we've currently got, like Rashford, Mata, Mkhitaryan, I think they'll flourish more next season, alongside Pogba. So I think we'll be in for a great season next season.
Great call, pal, as ever, and thanks for giving us your opinions.
All right, Mark. Take care, buddy. Bye.
You too, pal. Speak to you later. I just dropped into my head there, actually, and I must just repeat it. Remember at the start of the window, and everyone was on about, well, we weren't. We were all thinking we need more, but we were on about at the start of the window, 4 signings might be all that Manchester United make this year. Would you be happy with Lindelof, Perisic, Rodriguez and Morata? Give me your thoughts in the live comments. Would you be happy with that 4? Because it probably lacks the big Galactico, but in Rodriguez you've got a player who can do that if everything goes to plan. In Morata you've got a striker who can score 30, 40 goals a season if it goes well. In Lindelof you've got a potential another Bailly, and in Perisic you've got a winger who is quick, skillful and hard-working. Without signing the big, massive Varans and everything like that, I think those 4 signings would actually keep balance to the squad and actually solve a lot of the problems the squad has. Would you be happy with it? Alex says no. Unknown Ting says no. Amazing Universe says, I think no. Don't think so, says Linus Johansson. A lot of no's. I'd say no's more than yes, but a lot more no's. I don't think it will be that 4, but I just dropped into my head there. Lindelof, Perisic, Rodriguez, Morata. You get a striker, you get your number 10, you get your centre back, and you get your winger. What you don't get though is your CDM, and we need one of those. As All Rangers just said, we do need a CDM. Which, yeah, and add Fabinho in there. Does that make it any better? Is that the cherry on the cake? I think that would be a good 5 though. I do. Let me take another call. Try and mix it up a little bit. Hello, who've I got there? Hello?
Hi, Mark. It's Lorenzo.
All right. How you doing, pal?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. What was it you wanted to talk about?
I wanted to talk about James, with the title being this. I'm half Colombian, so I've watched quite a lot of James. I've got a bit of a different opinion. I see a lot of people slating him, saying he's not good enough if he can't get into Madrid. How will he get into United side? But I very much disagree, as you can imagine.
See, I mean, obviously, I've not changed my opinion because I've always been. I just said I thought he was a bit of a luxury signing a couple of weeks ago because I thought we were going to get Griezmann. Now we're not getting him. I think he's moved right up my list. He's a risk because obviously he's not had the best couple of years, but when he has played, he's done quite well. But he's not been first team. But in the same way, if Mourinho fancies him, mid-20s, potentially one of the best players in the world, platform at one of the best clubs in the world, it can go one or two ways. It could be another Di Maria, but it could be one of the best signings ever. Is that the sort of player? Would you be happy if we did that deal and that was our number 10?
Although I really like James, I'm not gonna try and hide it. I did really want Griezmann. I am upset that deal's fallen through, but I'm not gonna dwell on that. I'll get a bit passionate about it. But James is. I would like to sign him for different reasons, not just because I'm half Colombian and I really like the guy. He is a good player. I think he's quality. It is a risk, of course. Obviously with Di Maria, we spent the big money from Madrid. I remember Di Maria had that Champions League final just before he joined us. He was man of the match. He was incredible, but it just didn't work out. Things he said about his house. He was unsettled. So maybe that was his mentality. So, it's a bit different. Di Maria was a really special case because he was such a talented player, and it just went wrong somewhere. And that was just based down to him, I think. But I think if Jose Mourinho trusts James Rodriguez, I trust that decision completely.
There is a bit of substance to the James Rodriguez thing. We haven't just plucked it out of the air, by the way.
Yeah.
I know there has been a lot of there's been a lot of mention about Rodriguez and Manchester United for a few weeks now, and I've not really thought much about it. But there was something that came out today from a French journalist. It's at Mohamed Bouhafassi. He's got about 200,000 followers on Twitter. I mean, he's a journalist at the end of the day, but he's the one who's sort of refreshed it a bit by saying that Rodriguez is rejected Inter Milan and there are discussions with Manchester United. So there is a bit of fresh impetus to it, and it doesn't surprise me. It makes total sense because we have obviously had our transfer plans thrown into jeopardy because of Griezmann, and somebody did say in the comments, I remember saying it a few weeks ago, we would have two transfer lists. We would have had a Europa League transfer list and we would have a Champions League transfer list. And I specifically remember saying on the Champions League list you've probably got Griezmann, on the Europa League you've probably got Rodriguez. obviously we've got Champions League football, but because Griezmann's not coming anymore, we might have to revert for that position to the Europa League, and that may well be Rodriguez, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I suppose the big thing is, and I was going to ask the previous caller as well, Lorenzo, is if we go for a Real Madrid player, that pretty much is curtains for De Gea.
Yeah, it is, to be honest. But I've said this for a while. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. And I know stuff came out saying we're confident we can keep him. But I think if he is going and he's settled on that move, we need to get as much as we can out of the deal. Because, you've said it a few times, we're Man United. We do not need the money. We need the players. And even though he might have been on the Europa League list, we can't get the person we were after in the first place. So, the problem is now, because they know we wanted Griezmann so bad, we were kind of relying on it. Now they're going to ask for like a harder deal. They might ask for, they might say De Gea for James and then a bit of money. So they're going to give us a hard bargain, aren't they, Madrid? But I think if De Gea is wanting to go, we need to benefit from it as well. And we need to be able to source a goalkeeper before we even have that deal. We need to be able to find someone that we can think, right, we've got that sorted, and then cover the other bases we need.
We've got a super chat comment actually from Mike D, and he says, and I'll let you answer this as well, Lorenzo. He says, scale of 1 to 10, and everyone in the live comments, you can answer as well. Scale of 1 to 10, how dead is the Griezmann deal? And then he's put January ? Give us a score, Lorenzo. How dead do you think the Griezmann deal is? 1 being there's no chance, and 10 being there's a very good chance that he'll sign.
I think it's about 3 or 4, to be honest, myself. I think I probably should go lower because he's come out and said, it'd be horrible to do. It's a dirty move, he said. But, he obviously does have that love for Manchester United. He said Beckham's his idol. That's why he wears number 7. And this is the most iconic shirt on the planet. And if we paid the release clause, I don't care if he thinks it's a dirty move. Don't care if he doesn't like the weather. If we offered him enough money, he's coming to us. But I still think at the moment, because of what's come out, I do think it's probably unlikely. But we could do it, but it's really unlikely now.
There's a few. Fumux says there, last year Pogba told Juventus fans he would stay even though he left. Can't see why this could not happen with Griezmann as well. I don't think so. I'd put the chances of him coming this summer 1 out of 10, January 2 out of 10, next summer probably up to about 6 or 7. It could happen, but it would depend on a lot of things. The number 7 shirt could get taken this summer, and then he'll never get it. I think when the team numbers come out in August, if the number 7 shirt's free, I'd be thinking maybe we are going to go in for Griezmann next summer. If it's taken by a good signing, I'd say he's got no chance.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's one of the main things, really, for him to come to United. That is the iconic shirt. He grew up loving that shirt. So I think if it is gone, it's over. Then it's really dead. But there is always a chance. We need to sort it out. The number 7 shirt, Memphis. He put shame to the number 7 shirt. Really, he's got such great history now. So I think whoever we are going to give the number 7 shirt, we need to be careful. We need to be very careful because we don't want it getting degraded by any means.
No, we don't. Well, thanks for calling in, Lorenzo. Great call as ever, and please do call in again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Cheers, pal.
See you.
It's flying by tonight. I'm going to take another call, but I just need to check something on. We've had a few super chats tonight, and I don't want to miss anybody. We've just had one from. Let me just go back. I'm on the wrong page. I just realised I'm on the United Stand account. I'm not actually on the Mark Goldbridge account, so that won't help. And now I've lost my live comments. It's getting better and better. Oh, YouTube. Let me get back. There we go. We're back. Okay. There was a super chat there from Diva Shawnee again. Thank you, Divi. And he says, James or Morata? It would have to be James for me. And it would have to be James because I think in the number 10 position, who can play there isn't that many players in world football, especially because we let Bernardo Silva. We didn't go in for Bernardo Silva. There's a few, but they're not easy to get hold of. So I think Rodriguez for me. Morata, I do like him, but there's a lot more options for a number 9. Lacazette, someone like him. Lukaku, someone like him. You could even go in with a massive offer for Harry Kane, couldn't you? I personally like Belotti or Aubameyang or Icardi, but there's loads of options for the number 9. There's probably about 7 or 8 players that, some of them would be very difficult to get, but you could never say never. Whereas I think that number 10 sort of role, which we might not always play, but it'd be good to have an option there because Rooney's going to leave. I think James Rodriguez would be the one I would go for. I'm going to take another call, but I just want to take some of your live comments as well. Doves says, Mark, are you a Nottingham fan? No, I'm from Nottingham. You don't have to support the team that you were born in, and I haven't actually lived in Nottingham since I was 18, so no, that's not how football works. Lingard or Janusaj, says Joel Ator. Two would be Lingard for me. Mark, who would be that surprise signing Mourinho mentioned, says Urshad? God knows now. It was never going to be Griezmann anyway. That wasn't going to be the surprise. Well, maybe it is Griezmann because it would be a bloody surprise now. Donnarumma for replacement for De Gea. Obviously, Minireola is his agent, but I'm not convinced that we'll get Donnarumma. Apparently, he's going to discuss his contract next month, I think. Mkhitaryan is a quality number 10. We don't need a number 10, says Tyrone Williams. I think Mkhitaryan next season is a player to keep an eye on. He's not had a fantastic debut season, but he's had moments of brilliance. And hopefully with a season under his belt, I think if he could have a great season next year and be almost like a new signing if he has that consistency. Mark, do you want to buy the best number 10 right now from us? Dele Alli might end up in United in 2 seasons, says Gottberg Steltet. I do think that it'll be very hard to get Spurs players this summer. I know Danny Rose and Kyle Walker are looking for moves potentially, and maybe Eric Dyer, but the best players, although Eriksen's talking about going to Barcelona, so maybe there will be a Spurs exodus, but I'd be surprised. They've got a very good team. They were unlucky not to win the title, but Daniel Levy's a businessman. Oh, Ewan says Jan Black for a replacement for De Gea. I don't think we'll get anyone for Atletico Madrid though, will we? That's the problem. If you can't get Griezmann out of there, why would we get anybody else? But you never say never. Never, never. Okay, I'm going to take another call. Let's see who we can get hold of. Let's try... Is it... Oh, he's gone. Is it... Hello? Pesci, is it? Or Pesci? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, you're live. What was it you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, I want to talk about potential signing of obviously James Rodriguez.
Okay.
I really think we need James Rodriguez, and we need to accept that David De Gea is going. I mean, either way, David De Gea is gone, so we might as well get used of it and swap him for James Rodriguez. He's a quality, like you say, the wonder of a left foot. We really need the wonder of a left foot in our team because we got Mata, but he's a consistent player, but he's not as good as a free kick taker or like a creator like James Rodriguez is.
Yeah, I mean, you've covered the point I was going to ask you there because I was going to say, obviously, if we get James Rodriguez, that sort of means we're dealing with Real Madrid and De Gea would probably go the other way. Yeah.
I mean, you just got to accept it because the reason that David De Gea is coming up with, he wants to go to Madrid to start a family. It's not like Alexis Sanchez saying, I want to leave Arsenal because I want to start a family like somewhere else. He wants to win titles, and he can't win titles at Arsenal. But David De Gea knows he could win titles here, but he just wants to go to Madrid, where he's from. So I totally understand that. And this Griezmann thing just really, really peed me off. And I just don't want to ever see that guy anywhere near Manchester ever again. Because I'm going to slap him really hard. How dare you turn his back to Manchester United? How dare you?
Yeah, we try and move on. What we have neglected tonight, though, we've talked a bit about centre-backs. We've talked about, obviously, Rodriguez a lot, and that's great. And number 9s and Perisic. But the one position that we've sort of neglected tonight, and it is one that we do need to sign somebody in, is a centre defensive midfielder. Have you got any thoughts on that? I mean, there's a few names that get mentioned: Matuidi, Fabinho, Bakayoko, Eric Dyer, to mention a few. There are others, but have you? I mean, we may not sign anybody, but I'd be quite surprised. Is there anybody that's taken your fancy that you think we should be moving for?
First of all, Eric Dyer, no way. He's not a centre defensive midfielder. For me, Fabinho is probably the best player out there right now for us to buy because he's tall, he's strong, he's great on the ball, and he could, like you said, play right back, which is what we need. Other player, I mean, Matuidi, I don't mind him, but he's like 30 now, so it's kind of like, what is there any point of getting him unless you want like Jose Mendes to learn something from? Or one for me is Inter Milan, João Mario. He's a really good player, and Ronaldo speaks really highly of him.
Yes, he does. We're all obviously speculating a lot at the moment, and I think it's a weird time because when I think even the start of last week it was buzzing, and you do see that it's reflected in the amount of people that are watching the live shows, interacting on the comments after the videos, and it's definitely dropped off. It's which is fine, because I sort of feel it is coming back for me now. But the bloke we were mentioning before who dropped us out on Thursday, I think it's caused a lot of frustration, and I think we need a signing to sort of give us a little bit of a boost. I have mentioned on another video that Lindelof and Perisic could well happen over the next week. Are you concerned by United? I mean, I did mention it that Mourinho is apparently withdrawn. He's exhausted. He doesn't want any involvement in the transfers because he needs a break and a bit of a time out. Does that concern you, or do you think we'll be fine without Mourinho's involvement? Because a lot of people have a mistrust of Ed Woodward.
Exactly right. I am very concerned right now. I mean, I do not trust that guy, Woodward. He does not know. I mean, to go to Everton and say, here's 27 million for a tree. I mean, just go to a forest and cut it off. I mean, why do you have to go spend 27 million for? What are you doing? And then he's got like goes and buys what's his name? He wanted to sign this player for a ridiculous fee. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, when Mourinho said he wants a break, and that really worried me. I was like, oh, here we go. We've got to like sell Michael Keane for like 70 million or something now. I do not trust that guy, but he loves his Galacticos, like you said. And hopefully he brings us a good Galactico, no matter how much the money is, because Man United have got the money and we need to spend it. And one thing I want to touch up on is centre-back. Lindelof is good, but why are we not going for Virgil van Dijk? Because he is in his mid-20s, he's at his prime, he's a leader, he's tall and he's great in the air. He reminds me of Vidic. Why are we not going for a player like that, even though it costs 60 million? But you rather have Liverpool have him? Why would you go to Liverpool and rot away like all the other players?
It is a good point. I'm glad it's towards the end because the Liverpool fans will have given up by now. But look, I'm not going to lie, Van Dijk is a good player and he is a good signing. And we do need a centre-back. And if we are signing Michael Keane and we're not in for Virgil van Dijk, which we're not, I am surprised. I mean, I think he's massively overpriced at £60 million. But I think already this summer, people are going to be overpriced. I mean, Lukaku for 70 million, that's 20 million too much. Bernardo, Benfica are paying nearly 40 million. City are paying 40 million for a Benfica goalkeeper. I mean, it is going to be an overpriced summer. But I do agree, Van Dijk, we need a centre-back. A lot of people have mentioned him all season, and it is as bad as you've got to be honest. Begrudgingly, if Liverpool sign him, he is a good centre-back. I hope we've got something better planned, but Michael Keane isn't that. You could argue that Lindelof's not that, but we get linked to Varane, but why would he, when he's the most assured centre-back, Ramos is good, but he's a hothead, why would Real Madrid get rid of Varane when there's not obvious choices around there, unless they were going to get the lad from PSG, Marquinhos. There isn't. I mean, I'd be happy if we got Manolas, but these are risk players. I must agree with you about Van Dijk, but there we go. Thanks for calling, pal. Is it your first time on the show?
Yeah, first time, Mark.
And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
London. Well, thanks, mate. Really good call, really good debut, and please do call in again.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Cheers,
pal. Thank you. It's flown by again. We've been live for an hour. Let me come in back into the live comments. Let's have a look. Okay. Remember to drop a like on the video and Kev Cunningham says, Mark, do you think Woodward would be sacked if he messes up like when he bought the walking toilet brush? He's got a lot of pressure on him now. What I would say about Mourinho saying he's retracting from transfer business for a break, the first thing that popped into my mind, and I don't know whether you lot thought this, my first thought was tactical Mourinho. Is that a bit of a red flag that I'm retracting because I know what my transfer list was? I'm not necessarily going to get that, and when and if this goes tits up, it's nothing to do with me. That was what concerned me. On the other hand, it might just be Woodward's got my list. He knows what I want. He'll get the list sorted. I can have a break. It can be one or two things, but from a political point of view, I thought that's quite shrewd by Mourinho because it plants it in the United fans that Mourinho in early June he retracted. He's moved away from it, and if it goes wrong, it's on Woodward who has got that list. But we've got to trust him. The Griezmann thing wasn't Woodward's fault. Or Mourinho's or Manchester United's. It was just unfortunate that the player backed out of a deal that everybody thought was going to happen. Please do drop a like on the video. We're whacking our ways up to 1,000 likes, which is fantastic because on the Skype shows it's very important that we get 1,000 likes because it's not for me, it's not for the channel, it's for those people who get on and go at it. And I think all calls tonight, yet again, were absolutely fantastic. So really, really enjoyed it. One of my favourite shows, the Skype show, and we'll be back on Thursday night to do another one at 8:30. But we'll be back tomorrow night at 8:30 live. We'll be back on Wednesday at 8:30 live, and tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the United Stand channel will be the Transfer Daily, where I'm going to talk about Dembele. You've forced my hand, so we'll have a little section on him tomorrow, and a couple of others as well. I just need to say to you all again, thank you very much, because we are currently having to do the live content on my channel. If you're watching this, I know it's got all the setup, and we have to do that because of the live comments. We can't design a whole new studio, but we're not on the United Stand. This is the Mark Goldbridge channel. You might have come to it from the United Stand, but it is the Mark Goldbridge channel. So make sure you click the subscribe. I don't know how long it's going to be before we can do live content again on the United Stand. So football 7 a.m. Transfer Daily will be on the United Stand because I can pre-record that and put it up before 7 a.m. But if we're live reacting to transfers, which is what we've always done on the United Stand, like tomorrow, it would have to be on here because it's the only place we can go live at the moment. So that's the Mark Goldbridge channel. Click the subscribe. It's there in the bottom right hand corner. Just give it a subscribe and get involved with the channel for live content. This is where we'll be for the next few days. A few people asking why is this? We were live on Sunday afternoon with the watch along. We don't stream the match or anything like that. We're not doing anything wrong, and FIFA put a copyright claim in. What have FIFA got to do with a Michael Carrick testimonial? It would be MUTV or ITV. It wouldn't be FIFA. So we are contesting it, but obviously FIFA are a big organisation and YouTube have upheld it, so it's going to take a bit of time to go through their legal stuff, and it can take a long time. We don't know how long it's going to take. So we're fortunate that we can do the live content on my channel. We'll do the pre-records on there. It's a bit of a pain because we're very close to 100,000 subscribers on the United Stand channel, and you know we want to be able to do something live on there when we get there. But keep supporting and just keep spreading the word with what's going on. We're trying to do it on every upload just to let people know, live on Mark Goldbridge, and we'll still be putting content on the other one. But it's a pain. It's a real pain. But yeah, if you want the live stuff, which I know you enjoy, just make sure you subscribe to my channel. I don't know whether there is a hologram in the bottom right hand corner, but you're on the channel, so just go down underneath and you'll see my icon. Click subscribe, and then make sure you click the bell next to it so you get your notifications. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. unless something breaks tonight, which you never know in the transfer window. It can happen at silly times, but I don't think there's anything incoming tonight because I think what's going on now is the international stuff. So I think it'll be the back end of the week, but I still think the stories will develop. Thanks everyone for watching. Fantastic as ever. I know it's a pain for us, so it's probably a little bit weird for you. The sooner we can get back everything on the United Stand will be the better. But thanks everyone for watching, and I'll speak to you all very soon at 7 a.m. tomorrow.